Hello! So, as you may or may not know, I have just done a full year of a no-buy. If you follow me on Instagram or you have seen any videos on this channel before, you may know that I have just done a full year of beauty no-buy. And in this video, I want to talk about what's next. The sun is being slightly annoying, so we're just gonna have to ignore that. This is the best spot where I can currently film, so it is what it is. I really wanted to avoid going from a completely full restriction, completely not buying anything, into suddenly full freedom. I'm not fully convinced that would be a terrible idea, and I'm not fully convinced that I wouldn't be able to handle it, but I really enjoyed having some restraints, and I wanted to continue with them. I also enjoyed having rules to follow. I enjoyed having decisions already pre-made for me. Well, I made the decisions, but they are pre-made when I have to consider them later. I think it was very convenient for me throughout the whole last year. It made me focus on other things, not have to think about it a lot. I really enjoyed it. So I decided to give myself some pre-made decisions as well for this year. And because I think I've already achieved some of my goals from my no-buy year, which was gaining more awareness of my collection, changing my attitude towards buying new things like that, I decided to loosen up my rules. Another reason why I decided to loosen up my rules was also because I don't want to fully restrain myself from trying new things if I'm curious about them and if I want to try them. I also don't want to be limited to only testing and trying new things if they are gifted to me or sent in PR. I want to be able to make at least some decisions where I decide that I want to try something and then I am allowed to purchase it within the rules of my project. Nonetheless, I still want to limit the urges to buy that I may have, especially after doing a full year of no-buy. While I do trust myself a little, I didn't want to just throw myself out there into the freedom. I wanted to have some limitations. I still think my collection is really big and I want to use more things before they expire. I want to still continue growing awareness of what I have, and I want to be fully creative with what I have. I don't want to be limited to creating content about only new things. And of course, I want to be a conscious consumer. I don't want to spend too much money. I think if I bought every single thing I ever want, then I would go bankrupt completely. I would not be able to afford that. And I want to be conscious of what I'm supporting with my money as well. I am intending to do a bit more research about the things that I buy. Even if I don't do a lot with that knowledge, I still want to have the knowledge. I want to be aware of what I'm buying and see how I feel about things like maybe brands not being cruelty-free, brands not being vegan, brands using AI instead of real artists. I want to basically know what I'm supporting with my money and my choices and promotion on my very small social media channels. And when I know that, then I will decide what the next steps are for me. So yeah, I decided to go with a full year project again. I think it's a good amount of time. It's long enough to make me really think about it and change at least a little, but it's also not that long. It's surprisingly short. I feel like my no-buy year went by way quicker than I expected, so I don't think a year-long project is too much. And yeah, if I haven't said that already, I am doing a low buy. It is like a more mild version of a no buy, and I have set quite specific rules for myself. If you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen them already. I posted my rules in one of my reels. I also saved it in my highlights, so you can always come back to it if you're curious. And obviously you'll be able to come back to this video as well. But I want to list my rules here as well, just for the people who don't follow me on Instagram and might stumble across this video. So for my rules, I've decided that I will continue being allowed to buy all replacements. So whenever I run out of all items from a certain category and I no longer have something that can serve a specific purpose, I am allowed to buy a replacement for that category or buy a new thing if I don't have anything. So that rule stays the same as in my no-buy. What changes is I'm also allowing myself to make one purchase per quarter. By one purchase, I don't mean one singular item, I mean one spending. Maybe one order from a store or one trip to the store that I come back from with new items. Basically one action. I didn't want to limit myself to one item because sometimes the items might be small. For example, if I want to try a new brand of single eyeshadows, I don't want to be limited to buying just one eyeshadow. I think that would be slightly ridiculous and not really aligned with my goal when it comes to that rule. Obviously, I still want to be reasonable. I don't want to buy a million things in one purchase and call it one purchase. Technically, it would be, but I decided to not limit myself here really and just trust that I will be able to make a reasonable decision. I have also set specific expectations for those non-replacement purchases. First of all, I decided that I want to make a lot of content about it. The reason for buying new things would be to maybe review, test, try out. I don't necessarily need those things for my everyday makeup, so I need them to be necessary for other things. So I decided that I want them to be necessary for my content. And on the other hand, I also want to make sure that I actually use the item a lot. For each makeup item I have set yearly use goals that I want to meet. And if I buy something new, I am committing to meeting those goals for that item. I want to make sure that since I'm spending my money, that I'm also actually using it. And of course, using it for content will also count. Both of those expectations are kind of joined together, but it was important for me to set those expectations to add some responsibility into making those decisions. I think I will make better choices when I know that I will have to meet both of those expectations. I kept some rules from my no-buy year where if I'm traveling and I'm missing something, I am allowed to buy things. For my no-buy year, it was very strict. I had a list of specific items that I was only allowed to buy. So things like SPF, deodorant, moisturizer, things that are actually like super crucial. I removed the list from here now. So technically I am allowed to buy more things that I feel like I'm missing if I forgot them, or I don't know, my luggage got lost, my luggage got stuck, whatever might happen. If I am somewhere that is not my home and I don't have access to my collection, I will be able to buy things that I feel like are necessary to me. I am also still allowed to receive any beauty gifts or PR. That rule doesn't change. Throughout my no-buy year last year, that is the main way that I got new things. I think I only bought 2 makeup items, but I have received quite a lot. I received gifts from my friends, I received some PR, I won giveaways, I got a voucher that I could spend. I think those things really also helped me keep going, and I am allowing that within my rules because I am not spending that money, and most of the times I'm also not engaging in the purchasing process. So if I'm getting a gift, obviously I'm not spending time on a website and browsing and picking, and that was also part of the things that I wanted to avoid. Oh my god, the sun is really bad. I'm split in half. I haven't made any money with any of my content so far, so I'm not sure when or if that would happen next year, but I did include a rule that if I do make money, I am allowed to reinvest it into my social media accounts, and reinvesting might mean buying something for a review, for example. That would be an exception to my rules, and that wouldn't count towards my 4 purchases. That would be a separate thing. And of course, I don't know if that would even happen. I don't specifically expect it to happen. We'll see, but I wanted to include it in case it happens. Within my rules, I also included things like if I do make a purchase within my 4 allowed purchases, I want to make sure that before I do that, I look at my inventory Excel. I look at all the items from the category that might be similar that I already have. I want to make sure that I am conscious of what I'm adding, what place that new thing would take in my collection, and how similar it might be to other things. I think that just becoming aware of those things before making a purchasing decision might make my purchasing decision smarter. So I want to make sure that I am purchasing consciously. I'm literally split in half, huh? And since my inventory Excel is already mentioned in my rules, I'm continuing to maintain it. I will be tracking my makeup usage throughout the year. I will be tracking everything I have. I know I got at least 1 comment requesting that I show you the inventory Excel, and I will. I was redoing it for next year, so I wanted to show you the old and the new version to show you the improvements that I've done and maybe talk about them. It is a video that I have planned and that will come, so please stay tuned. But yeah, it is also within my rules that I will be continuing to have my Excel. And I don't think that will be a very difficult rule to follow because I am having lots of fun with my Excel. I've really become a makeup nerd throughout last year, and I've been having so much fun researching things like how many milliliters things have, how many months after opening things are good to use, all of that. Basically. I don't know what else I'll think to add to my Excel, but it's possible it will continue to grow. So I'll just continue having fun with it. I am also allowing declutters. Last year I had a pretty strict rule of only decluttering things that are obviously expired, absolutely not usable and bad. This year I will also allow myself to declutter things that I just don't like. In my rule, I did say that the declutters have to be thought through, and I mean it, obviously. They have to be thought through. I don't want to just be getting rid of things just because, but thought through might mean more things than just something being obviously expired or unusable. And yeah, last but not least, my low-buy rules are strictly applied to makeup items. However, I will try to also maintain my restraints towards every other beauty category as well. I decided to do that mainly because makeup is my weak point, so to say. That is where I'm mostly tempted to buy new things where I already have a lot of things. I don't think I have the same problem with skincare, hair care, body care, things like that. I think it's a bit easier for me to not overbuy. I do still have things that I want to finish up and categories that are bigger than I would like them to, but I don't think I need to have such strict rules for those categories, which is why I decided to make my low buy strictly makeup. I didn't include that in my Instagram post, but in my own notes, I also listed some categories that I am not forbidding myself from buying, but I would like to not grow too much in the next year. And those are mainly categories that are just currently very big for me and bigger than I feel like I need. That is mainly my lip products. I think I have way too many. I'm not able to use them all. I'm not able to use them up before they expire. I don't want to just throw away a lot of them because they will expire. So I will try to not buy too many lip products. I might buy lip balms because I only have 2 and I will probably use them up. But things like lip glosses, lipsticks, liquid lipsticks, unless there's like a very valid reason why I want to buy a new one, I will try not to. I will try to lower the amount of things I have in those categories rather than grow. Same goes for nail polishes. I currently have 29 nail polishes and that number is pretty big. Plus, by tracking my nail polish usage last year, I was also able to notice that I'm just not able to use them all. I haven't been able to use them all even once, because obviously some of them I tend to reach for more than the others. And I haven't used, I think, any more than 3 times, maybe more than 4 times. So I think that's a very clear sign that I have too many nail polishes. I would like to finish up some of the ones that I have before I get any new ones. So I don't expect to be buying any nail polishes. It's also not something that excites me that much. Sometimes I go through phases where I really want a new nail polish, especially if it's like really sparkly. But generally, I'm not tempted. So I think it shouldn't be an issue. I think I'll be fine. On that little list, I also included cream blushes, cream bronzers, cream highlights, just because for all of them, I already have more than I can use. And I would like to use more before I buy any new ones, especially considering cream products expire quicker and they tend to grow bacteria and then they can just be bad for your face. I don't want to be putting things that would be harming my skin. So I will try to avoid buying those things. And for cream highlighters, I have just realized that I think I'm not really into them. I think I just prefer powder highlighters. It's possible that I haven't found my perfect one. It's possible, of course. But I think I'll just try to use up the ones that I have and possibly not buy other ones. I just have 2. So it's not too many. But I included that on that list just because I just don't think I love them that much. One thing that is the biggest category in my collection and is not on the list is eyeshadow. I have a lot of eyeshadow. I have a lot of eyeshadow palettes. I have a lot of single eyeshadows. However, I'm not planning to limit myself from buying new ones because I feel like that is my main artistic tool. I mainly do colorful eye looks. I post eye looks on my Instagram. That's the main tool I use. So because of that, I decided not to put any limitations. I already have limitations that will restrain me from buying too much, but I decided not to add an additional note to eyeshadow specifically. As for the future of this channel, I know I haven't been as active as I thought I would be or intended to be last year. There are many reasons for that. I'm not gonna go into that, but I do want to be more active this year. I don't necessarily want to focus my content on low buy, but I will just do whatever I feel like. So that is definitely a commitment I am making towards myself. I'm not gonna have any specific schedules. I want my schedule to fit my life, but I will definitely try. And yeah, as I mentioned, I am planning to make a video about my inventory Excel. I will try to make that video soon. I am also planning to make a video about my 2024 makeup favorites. So anything that I was using last year that was a particular standout for me that I really enjoyed and would recommend. I already made a list of products, so it's already in the plans, in the making. I hope you're interested in that as well. Yeah, and if there's anything else that you're curious about or would like to see from me, let me know in the comments. Also, if you're doing a no buy year, low buy year, anything like that, or if you've just finished one, let me know how it went. Let me know what your plans are. Let's talk about it. I'm very curious about what other people are doing when it comes to those things. I want to hear your experiences, your advice. We can have a discussion. But yeah, in the meantime, I hope that it was interesting. I hope that it was enjoyable and maybe even useful. And if you liked this video, please consider subscribing, consider liking this video, consider commenting. I will really appreciate that. And yeah, I will see you in my next video. Bye!